Hello, welcome everyone. This is your co host Andrew with Josh and Naveen on the 29th episode of the Lucky Top podcast. So, hope everyone's having a lovely summer. Just once again, we want to make sure that you guys are aware of our partnership with BetStamp and Sign Up Expert. Just an amazing opportunity for you to make sure that you're getting the best odds available. Check out some of the sign up offers that are available for new users. Just head over to our dedicated page at signupexpert.com/LockyTopSports to explore our selection of sports books tailored to your region. Wherever you are, it'll automatically detect your location based on the geotag and present you with a bunch of unique offerings. So go ahead and head over to signupexpert.com/LockedUpSports or simply just use the QR code on our screen and it'll automatically direct you to our sign up page. So that being said, last week, apologies I wasn't available, but Josh, Naveen, and our dear friend Chase gave you guys a lock, I heard. And how did that go, Naveen?
Yeah, we smashed it, guys. Serbia minus 18. They won by 39, doubled the spread. Easy game versus Puerto Rico, and we're going back to the well for this week's best bet. On Friday, you have France versus Germany in the semifinals of men's basketball. So I'm gonna take France plus 4.5. Might couple that with the under, but that's not official yet. Should be a low scoring game. I think this is a classic example of fade what happened last game. So last game Germany won pretty soundly. I think it should be a much closer game. Line suggests that last time Germany won by 15 or so. Now it's only a 4.5 point spread. So do what seems wrong. France plus 4.5.
Yeah, I mean, that's an absolute lock there. I'm sure Bad Bunny and J Balvin and a lot of Puerto Ricans were crying after that beatdown. Rest in peace, Puerto Rico. That being said, our best bet of the week is gonna be backing the home dogs here. All dogs go to heaven, according to a philosopher, a greatest philosopher of our lifetime. So that being said, especially at home with a bunch of home field advantage and some French cuisine being cooked, I would not be surprised if there would be a bunch of a bunch of foul calls, anything like that, to help cover the spread. So go ahead and find your best bets. Go ahead and back France. So moving on to the next, Josh, why don't you kick us off with the recruiting news?
All right, man. So
I like
it's been a huge weekend on Rocky Top. Coming into a busy off season for Josh Heupel and them, is they've just been extremely busy on the recruiting trail. Going into the 2026 class, I mean, we just signed the number one player in the country. Well, we didn't sign him, but we got a commit from him. So still a little bit further until signing day, but we got a commit from the number one overall player, Faison Brandon, and the number one overall quarterback, also Faison Brandon, in the 2026 class. So that's exciting news for us. I think you're kind of seeing some of the I call it the Peyton Manning effect that we saw, especially when I was a kid growing up, on how many good players there in the mid to late 90s Tennessee just stacked and stacked on top of each other because of the great Peyton Manning deciding to play at Tennessee. And we're kind of seeing that also with Nico. We've seen a lot of wide receivers and people on the offensive side of the ball commit to Tennessee because they want to play with a quarterback that's going to get them the ball. And that's kind of what we're seeing kind of play out. We got a 4-star tight end, in-state kid that just committed to Tennessee. I think it was yesterday, I want to say. And that was his big reason on committing to Tennessee. I think Carson Sneed is his name. He's an in-state kid, but he's a 4-star tight end for the 2026 class. And then we've seen some other guys on the opposite side of the ball obviously commit too. So it's kind of building on each other to kind of, really highlight, not only the ability that a huge marquee commit brings, but also the I guess the talent that we see from our coaching staff to go out and get these big time players to come and play at Tennessee. But it's easy, man, and I think it goes back to what we've seen with Rick Barnes taking the team deep on a deep run back in March, going to the Elite Eight, and then you have Tony Vitello and the baseball team going in and just smashing historic numbers in the college baseball season and win the national championship there. You just have the power T in the Vols brand everywhere, so it makes it a little bit easier for Josh Heupel to be able to sell not only the football program but Tennessee as a whole, because we're able to we're able to bring some of those commits while they're there during the summer, because signing days have changed a lot. Historically, we remember signing day as the first week of February. And now with the transfer portal and the way the late signing period happens, early signing period happens, there's multiple opportunities for commitments and for people to sign. And then, obviously official visits throughout the entire calendar. So, we had baseball going on while we were hosting some of these guys on campus. So it's, something that gets people excited and definitely has helped us in recruiting and getting some of these people on campus. So what are your thoughts, Andrew? When you see where we were just a few short years ago with Jeremy Pruitt coming out of that debacle, I mean, I almost thought Tennessee wasn't going to be able to recover, man. Where have you seen Josh Heupel take this program, and do you think he's ahead of schedule, or do you think he's on time? I'd like to get your thoughts on that, and just kind of the state of the program, not just football, but athletic department overall. What are your thoughts on that, Andrew?
Well, I would just say, recruiting is all great, and obviously you need the players. You need good players to be able to perform at a national level. That's always been the difference between teams like Alabama and Georgia versus teams in that 8 to top 20 level programs versus the teams that are consistently getting into the playoffs. Is that when you bench Jalen Hurts, you had Tua, being able to come in and execute, and we just did not have that level of luxury. So it's coming a long way. Definitely appreciate that. But that being said, we did have a pretty good recruiting class back in the days with Butch Jones. Just wasn't able to fully live up to the potentials that these players had. Having Jalen Hurd, Kamara, Dobbs, and all of those Derek Barnett, great players, NFL players. So again, like it's the step in the right direction. But ultimately, we want to see some start seeing some results, and we want to start seeing some results now. It's the same thing with basketball and baseball, right? So basketball. With Rick Barnes, we finally, made it to Elite Eight again, and hopefully Final Four soon. And with baseball, making the College World Series, eventually, finally getting over that hump and delivering the Natty. So hopefully football is gonna follow that. I know it's gonna be a little bit more difficult just given the state of the program that this program was in after Jeremy Pruitt, but. That being said, it's definitely exciting news. I almost wonder it looks kind of crazy to have like the top quarterback from the class for each of the next like 2-3 years or whatever. We already had Nico, who was one of the top quarterbacks in his class, and then we have the Brandon kid, which is in 2 years.
Faison Brandon, but you talk about Faison Brandon, but you look at who we have. I mean, we have George McIntyre coming in the 2025 class as well. So
is that like are we 2
5 stars and 4 stars? No, I don't think so. I think there's going to be a situation where somebody's gonna have to make a transfer. Like, I mean, we're not
Right.
dumb. We understand kind of the atmospherics of college football right now and with the transfer portal. But I think that Josh is doing a great job of ensuring that there is a deep quarterback room. And not for nothing, I know we know that this is Nico's team, but everything that's coming out of you know the media there in Knoxville since practice has started for fall camp is Jake Merklinger is giving Nico every bit of competition that he can handle in practice. So Jake Merklinger, in his own right, a high 4-star quarterback. So we're not talking about a bunch of scrubs. I mean, Andrew, we're not so far removed from a room that had Justin Worley as our quarterback,
Or Nathan Peterman.
Nathan Peterman. Jarrett Garantano. The list goes on and on. So I know JG was a highly rated kid coming out of Bergen Catholic High School there in New Jersey, but that experiment was atrocious. And then everything before Hendon Hooker, it was just not good.
Right. Yeah, we just want to see some results, I guess. All of us, how many of our stars, whatever the ranking is, and hopefully Rocky Top is shaping to be that place where the players can kind of look at and say, you know what, like, why wouldn't I want to go there? Why wouldn't I want to go there? Get some national spotlights, be in a very player friendly, stat friendly system, and ultimately pave the road to the NFL, right?
Right. And well, that's what I was going to say. I think ultimately we're seeing dividends being paid from we're having a lot of success of getting people drafted under Josh Heupel, and that goes a long way. And we've seen it's kind of been out there. Some of the players, they do that the players podcast or the players show or whatever that's kind of ran by the school. But that was something that Dante Thornton was talking about recently, like why he transferred from Oregon, it was to play in Josh Heupel's offense because it's so, offensive friendly. So his reputation, not only just as a recruiter, is growing, but also as a play caller and, someone that's going to prepare you for the NFL. So I think you hit the nail on the head when you talk about the reasons why kids are coming, and it's because they're making them pro ready in that program. So recruiting's heating up. 2025 class is shaping up to be great as we've seen, but the 2026 class is looking like we're going to have some generational type talents come in. And we've already highlighted some of the names that we currently have on the roster that I believe are generational talents. Nico, being top of that list. I only think that the positive momentum is going to continue, especially with the year that I think that we're going to have. And we're going to, that's a tease for a little bit later of what we're going to forecast for the 2024 season. So with that said, what are we thinking here on this SEC schedule preview for the University of Tennessee? We do have one of our best and most favorite guests here with us tonight. Moonlighting with us as a co-host, and that's Big Texas. He's going to talk about Texas's schedule, but we also brought him in to talk about the Vols. So Big Texas, I want you to have an opportunity to, welcome yourself back into the show and talk to our listeners about what you've been up to this summer and kind of what you see shaking out in the landscape of the SEC. So, Big Texas, the floor is yours, man. Welcome back to Locky Tops podcast.
Thanks, Josh. I just want to say it's great to be on the program. It's been, 6 months or so?
It's been a while, man.
It's been a haze, man. I think I'm I've been ranching. I've been out there in my farm ranching, herding cattle. So I'm ready to herd Texas to the college playoff again, back to back, and we're ready to win this thing, man.
Well, you sound pretty confident there, man. I don't know if it's that Texas heat that's affecting you there while you're out there herding all that cattle, but yeah, I think we'll have some dissent amongst the co-hosts here tonight on how well Texas will do on their inaugural season here in the SEC. So we'll punt that down down the line here a little bit because we want to get to the real UT, which the conference has already outlined that the University of Tennessee is the real UT. So shout out to the SEC media days when they released those schedules. They went ahead and earmarked Tennessee as the real UT. So we can jump into it, man. Andrew, we got a little bit of a layup there with Chattanooga. What do you think's going on here with the mocks? Is he going to give the Vols any issues there on August 31st, which is barely 3.5 weeks away?
I just historically, I've seen this, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but App State and Georgia Tech, a few years back come to mind. I feel like
Georgia State, right?
No. Georgia Tech. So
okay.
like 7 years ago.
Yeah, 2017. Bush Jones' last year at Tennessee.
That's right. So what I'm getting at is that like the first game, I feel like they always play these walk in the park type of schedule, and the spread just never end up covering it. So I'm gonna say, obviously, like at this point, it's whether they're gonna win or lose is out of the question. But will they cover the spread? I'm gonna say I will be fading the Volunteers on the 31st of August. So you can go ahead and put that as the best bet of the day from 3 weeks from now. Doesn't matter the spread.
Well, yeah, absolutely. But just for the purposes of our listeners and for gambling, I'm going to go ahead and put a money line spread of Tennessee minus 1,200, and then I'll also go ahead and point spread. I'll go Tennessee minus 35. I think this will be a great opportunity for us to open up a nice little. It's not a nooner, but it's 12:45, so it's close enough to be a nooner. Against Chattanooga. It should be a comfortable win for the Vols as they look to set the tone for the season. And I think it'll be a dominant performance for Nico to get loosened up and kind of get his legs under him, showcase some of his skills and get on pace with his receivers and give some younger guys that are going to need some developing to get some reps and sets in before we get into the next game in week 2 against NC State. But before we hop into NC State, I want to give Big Texas the opportunity to critique and comment with the Vols' website here. I know his cousin Naveen it also fancies himself to be a big website critic. So Big Texas, if Naveen was here, what would we be hearing from him in reference to Tennessee's setup here on their football schedule?
Man, I think on the right, he's gonna like the related videos, man. I think he's a big fan of not bombarding you with ads. So I think this is a good. I mean, they do have the NFL ad, but we know who pays the bills.
Yeah, it's Sunday ticket. You got to do it.
Yeah, dude. So I think that's a good option. I do like the timings. I noticed that they updated them. I would say nice to have the tickets show up and the channel that the game is on. The very important information, pretty much everything you need to know. So I do like it. It's approved from me, so I'm assuming he's my blood. So
yeah, history too. Nice little pattern analysis enabling.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean,
strong side. But what's your thoughts about the Wolf Pack, man? How do you think Tennessee does against the formidable ACC opponent, which looks like they're going to be top 25 team coming into that game.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think they lost some key pieces on defense. The Wolfpack, they had a psychotic linebacker that got drafted in the NFL, so we don't have to worry about him. I don't know much about the QB, but I mean, this is Nico first hypothetical game on the not really on the road, but you know, in close enough to being on the road, so it's a good enough test. Night game, Duke's Mayo Classic. I just think that if Tennessee, this is a must win for Tennessee, and I do think they're going to win.
Okay, all right, Andrew. I know you're more of a Hellman's guy when it comes to Mayo versus the Duke's brand. So, well, give me your thoughts about this game. Not big on the sponsor, but looks like it could shake out to be a nice early season, ACC SEC matchup.
I don't think so. I mean, I generally not a fan of mayonnaise and overall Hellman's, Dukes, Crafts, they can all just go to the garbage can. So and NC State is
I think you might be in the wrong conference, buddy. You're not a fan of mayo.
I know down in Alabama they like the white sauce mayonnaise base, but Tennessee we're more of tomato based and bourbon bourbon sweet barbecue sauce more so than anything mayonnaise based. So I think mayonnaise hating fans have their place in the SEC. Certainly, as an anti-Bama guy, I can confidently say I'm not a big mayonnaise guy. But that being said, garbage sponsor, garbage team, we're gonna roll over. Give me minus. I think the spread is like 5.5. So give me 15.5. Make some money right there. There's your plus 300 or whatever the odds makers are gonna be kind enough to throw. Again, you can check the odds when it's time in September. Go to signupexpert.com/LockedUpSports to see which ad makers will give you the most money for betting on the outspread. But our recommendation would be to place a sizable amount of bet that you're comfortable on the Tennessee outspread, because Wolfpack, I think they're gonna look like a bunch of puppies at the at the shelter after we're done with them. So let's move on.
Okay. Well, NC State for me, man. Yeah, I think you guys, pegged that one pretty good as far as Tennessee getting the win. For me, Big Texas brought up the quarterback there for NC State. I think James Pierce is going to have a field day. I think he's going to be crucial defensively in applying a lot of pressure to their quarterback. I think Tennessee is going to be able to load a heavy box. They're going to have 8 or 9 in the box. I know NC State's going to want to run the ball. They do have a running quarterback too, so those things kind of tilt in favor of Tennessee. There are obviously some concerns. We got some folks in the secondary a little banged up, and then obviously we have the majority of our entire secondary is brand new. So it'll be good to get them some reps and sets against a team that's not really explosively, pass happy. But yeah, man, I think Tennessee money line is going to be minus 500 for me, and then point spread is going to be minus 14 for Tennessee. So again, go to our sign up expert, with BetSimp there at Lucky Top Sports and wager appropriately. So rolling into Kent State, Big Texas. What do you got for Tennessee against Kent State there in the friendly confines of Neyland Stadium?
Well, I'd say I haven't seen the line for over and under on this one, but this is going to be an over. You can probably bet a Tennessee team total over when it comes out. Kent State is one of those garbage MAC teams with no defense, but they do score a decent amount of points. So I would say, stay away from the spreads there and just go for the over.
Yeah, there's always some action, that goes down when these teams get involved. It's some weird nuanced thing that never, to your point, never do really the spreads. But if I'm just throwing out spreads, if you want to be a sick degenerate, I'd go Tennessee minus 800 on the money line, and then point spread, I'd probably go minus 28 Tennessee. But that's if you're an extreme degen. But yeah, I would just do over with Naveen or Big Texas. And then Andrew, what do you have for Kent State to close us out on that game?
I have nothing, honestly. Not much to look at, not much to worry about. Honestly, this is gonna be one of those games that's a snooze fest, and we'll be checking out our opponents. That are coming up in starting late September to October. This is probably, for me personally, this is where I'll be watching some of the other teams to make sure that I'm knowledgeable enough about other teams for me to talk shit on the show. So and in order for me to do that, I need to watch some of their games. Can't just watch Tennessee games while nothing is going on. So I'm gonna just be honest, I'll probably be focused on, especially on the Oklahoma, like just need to be able to see, like, are they for real? Are they frauds? Are they gonna be a difficult matchup? So I think that's probably where my efforts will be spent, as well as just kind of like looking out at Arkansas and Florida, and ultimately leading up to Bama.
Okay. Well, since we have our special guest, Big Texas, on the mic here tonight, I'm going to give him the opportunity to lead us off against his favorite college football team, the Oklahoma Sooners, and give us kind of his thoughts on where Tennessee stacks up on a huge opening to SEC play down in Norman. Going to be a marquee matchup. Obviously, you look at that time slot, it's the flex game for ABC. It's going to be, in that 3:30, 4:30 slot on ABC, or the 6 to 8 p.m. on ESPN, or potentially ABC. So, Big Texas going to be a huge marquee matchup again, and it's going to be the welcoming party for Oklahoma to the SEC. Give me your thoughts. Give me your rundown on Vols Sooners September 21st.
Yeah, you might as well call them the Kaboomer Sooners, because they're going to get blasted, brother. I just think they don't stand a chance. We took a look at their schedule last week, and this is the start of Deepwater Horizon for them. They're getting fucking buried after this game. So this is the start of when they go get tested. And I don't think they're going to come up with anything, and it starts this week. You guys are going to the game, right? What are you thinking about this?
Yeah, we are going. Me and Andrew are going to make the trek to Norman. We've been on the opposite end of that, where I guess 2015 was the last time they played. They were supposed to play in 2020. We were going to go to Norman in 2020, but I think everybody that's listening to this show knows what kind of just absolute shit show 2020 turned into, with COVID and everything that wound up shaking out. But I would say, I am excited about that. Obviously getting to hang out with Andrew and provide some good content for the listeners here. But besides all that, Norman, it's home to a team that's notoriously a good college football program. So it'll be cool to go down there to their stadium, meet their fans and stuff. They had a lot of folks come up for that Oklahoma game to Knoxville, and probably one of our funnest games that we've been to. When you look at it from the pregame to the tailgating and everything, the whole weekend, the night before the game, it was just it was a great time. And then we went and laid an egg. But I have a good feeling. It's probably my orange tinted glasses a little bit, but I do have a strong feeling here at Oklahoma. I think it's going to be, a challenge for us. I think Josh Heupel, it's going to be his first time back. It's going to be, Petty Roosevelt on full display. He's going to do everything he can to run that score up and get a win. But I think, it's going to be a close game. As much as he wants to go in there and just show everybody like, hey, you should have never got rid of me the way that you did it. It was kind of ugly, but here we are. We're coming to town and we're taking care of business. I would say money line spread for me is going to be Tennessee minus 130, and point spread prediction, I'm going to take Tennessee minus 3. So it's going to be a close game for me. Hopefully a great weekend, and no matter what happens, as long as Tennessee comes out with a dub, I think that's gonna bode well for me and Andrew's our festivities and our weekend. So Andy, I'll let you close it out here. Tennessee versus the Sooners, man. What are you thinking?
Boomer Sooner, sure. But boomers are, this is the millennials and the Gen Z, time period now. Time to go back to your houses. All the boomers, sit back, relax, and unfortunately for this Oklahoma boomer Sooners, I think it's gonna be a beatdown. I honestly don't see why Oklahoma would be able to keep up. I predict another LSU-like situation here, where
Wow.
all I've been reading about is that Oklahoma was in like top 8, top 10, and each preseason ranking just keeps dropping down. The latest preseason ranking that Josh shared with us actually has us on top of Oklahoma now. So I don't know if that's because like taking all the transfer portal transactions into account. Obviously, preseason doesn't mean anything until we, actually start seeing some results on the field. But that thing I've seen out of Oklahoma, gives me any indication that this is going to be a close walk. I think we're gonna just get on that wagon and just gonna run it to the ground. We'll have some fun. We'll go check out Baker Mayfield's statue. Wish our buddy Big Texas could join us for that. Would have been pretty fun, but nevertheless, it's gonna be a great time. But I am so far predicting a pretty smooth, I guess, really 3-0, or excuse me, 4-0. So far, going into Arkansas and Florida, and I'm not just gonna go ahead and say that I do think Tennessee's gonna get to 6-0 before we have to all head down to Neyland Stadium for the third Saturday in October. So jump the page a little bit, but
Okay, yeah. So I mean, we will have that bye week sprinkled in after Oklahoma before we go to Fayetteville, Arkansas. Yeah, I'm with you, Andy. I don't really see Arkansas being that much of a threat. But we never play really well down there. So I would say keep the spread around -7 for Tennessee. For points, the money line, I think Tennessee -220 is pretty safe. So Florida, I know you skipped that one. That one's really kind of low hanging fruit to skip. So since you want to go ahead and jump on down to Alabama, I'll let Big Texas talk the Tennessee Florida matchup. Big Texas, what do you think is going to happen there on October 12th?
Florida spread, right? That's the rational decision.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. My cousin, he calls me before every Florida Tennessee game, and he kind of tells me like he's on pins and needles, and
Shook every time.
This really pisses him the fuck off, when he loses to Florida for no fucking reason. So I can't bet Tennessee spread here. I'm with Andy. Use your head. I do think
bet responsibly, guys. Bet responsibly.
I do think that there's absolutely no way that Florida can lose I mean, Florida can win versus Tennessee, but damn, man, they seem to be in it every year versus Tennessee. So the only thing I have is a frame of reference of punting Florida. So, I mean, I don't know what else I can say, but we will get the dub. It's just, it's going to be a sweat of a game. I can tell
Listen,
you.
guys. Hey, Big Texas. I know your cousin Naveen, man. He's always just worked into knots and just into fits over this game every single year, and
Rightfully so.
rightfully so. Don't have any Tennessee Florida game apologetics on Locky Top Sports. We've lived and endured this series for most of our entire lives or Tennessee fanhood. It's not been pretty. I mean, we haven't won in the swamp. I went down there last year with a bunch of buddies that are Florida fans, regrettably. Thinking it would be the first time in 20 years Tennessee wins in the swamp. Joe Milton doesn't lose in Florida. I heard that shit. I was like, hell yeah, let's go. Let's do it. And then, of course, we just go in there and shit the bed as only Tennessee can do in this series, man. I don't know why, but I found myself watching this game, the game from last year. It was probably, I think, last week sometime, and I saw Tennessee in the swamp since like 1972 was 2 and like 30 something. It was insane. Like, no way a series should be tilted like that. But it is. But I'm not going to be a victim of my battered Vol syndrome this year, fellas. I am going to give the listeners a spread. I'm going to say point spread. Give me -6 Tennessee.
But it's going to be way more than that, though.
Yeah.
The odds makers are not going to give you -6 Tennessee.
I know. But
yeah, brother.
For me, it's going to be -6. So if they're not going to give it to you, again, bet responsibly.
Yeah.
But money line spread for me is going to be Tennessee -180. All right. So I think this game will be a big statement. Yeah, I think it'll be a big statement win for the Vols, man. Brew McCoy, he's going to be returning from
that's what it's going to be like, I think, like how it should be in reality. Maybe like a -250 and like a 5 to 6 spread. But in reality, this is going to be one of those like -550 and -13.5. Then it'll be a big trap, even though it's not at the swamp. So, we all hope that we can have our buddy Naveen back on the pod and not leave him not lose him permanently and have him be replaced by Big Texas. No offense to Big Texas, but we want to see our buddy Naveen in orange forever and ever. And losing to Florida would be that final plug. So
I'm telling you,
let's not hope.
I can't lose Naveen, Big Texas. I got to keep him on the Vol train. But I bring up the ghosts that we and the skeletons that we have in the closet there against the Gators, man. It's not pretty. And hopefully we're not out there seeing ghosts when we're playing the team from Gainesville that weekend. But I think the edge for us again is we're playing at home. I think Neyland's going to give us the edge. And again, I think with Brew McCoy coming back, and some of the things that I'm seeing offensively, I just think that's going to be a good time that you're going to see the offense clicking. You're going to see Squirrel White doing his thing. Chris Brazel's going to have a big game that night. Nico's probably going to put on like a Heisman type performance. It's going to be one that goes down in the pantheons of Tennessee, Florida. So it's going to be a big game. But
man, I hope we don't have to see a Heisman performance from Nico to beat Florida, but that's just how it's going to be, unfortunately.
Well, hey, man, that is the way that this game goes for us, just like you said. And I mean, we saw it 2 years ago with Anthony Richardson, right? I mean, he damn near put on a Heisman performance. That game, I think we won by 5 points. I think that was the spread there. Tennessee beat them like was it 30, like 33-25 or something like that. It was something small. And, they were throwing into the end zone at the end of the game to, I think, to tie or go ahead by like 1 point. But it had me absolutely terrified after that fucking onside kick recovery. And I thought, oh, here we go. Here it is. It's going to happen. And we had my favorite Tennessee secondary player of the last couple of years, Kamal Haddon, come up with a big interception to seal the deal. But yeah, man, it's going to be a nail biter. It's Florida, and it's trap season, man, because we got Bama rolling in the very next weekend. So Big Texas, I'm gonna give you the honor of leading this preview off. You got the Bamers rolling into Knoxville. Do you think Tennessee's going to rise to the occasion and get the job done?
Guys, I think there's 2 games you can afford to lose this season potentially and still make the college football playoff. I would say that this would be one of them, but I do think this is going to be a close game. Nick Saban ain't there. That's an important thing. It's Kalen DeBoer. And it's Jaden Milroe, right? It's a guy with a lot of flaws. Doesn't really know how to throw the ball that well, but can run it. That has been something we've seen.
Unless he's 4th down against Michigan in the playoffs, then he can't run it at all.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a dangerous spot for us. Maybe I would say, I don't know. I don't even have a read on this game. I would say it's a coin flip, gonna be a field goal game, and unfortunately, Bama takes it.
Okay, well, I'm with you with the field goal game. I got Alabama -3. It is going to be a coin flip game, but I'll be honest with you. I really think Tennessee's got a shot to not cover, but also win, kind of like we did a couple years ago with that last second field goal. So in the closing minutes of the game, I think money line Tennessee's probably plus 140 ish around this game. It's going to be crucial for Tennessee to win, having some positive momentum in the SEC, because we lose this game, we might start to sputter, and I don't want to see that happening, especially coming off of a hot 6-0 start. We've done that before. I think it was I think we started Hawaii 5-0 back in 2016 after the Hail Mary there in Sanford Stadium against Georgia. Andrew, I think you were present for that. And then we rolled into Texas A&M, and then we wound up losing to Vanderbilt that same season. So I don't want us to lose any positive momentum that we got, but I think you'll see our playmakers step up on a big stage that night, and we might not cover, but I think we're gonna win. So Andrew, thoughts?
Early lines have this game at Bama -3. I will be hammering the +3. I think Tennessee takes this easy. I think Tennessee goes 9-0 until Georgia. So I guess I've already kind of taken the speedy course here, but nothing about Bama scares me. Kind of like the same as Oklahoma. Just obviously, like we've seen, Tennessee fumble, sure, but I feel like new year, new us. Baseball team broke the curse. Why can't the football team? And it's really time to start seeing the results. It doesn't matter if we get 5 stars, 6 stars, 9 stars, 10 stars. If we don't get the damn win versus Bama this year, we're not
serious. We're not serious.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying, right?
Yeah, coach from Pac-12 coming into the SEC, coming into Neyland Stadium, and you think it's gonna be that easy of a dub? I don't think so.
No, but I mean, you saw the coaches poll. Everybody's fucking crowning them, man. I think they're still top 5, even though Kellen DeBoer will be in his first year. So he's getting a little bit of love, I think, off that runner-up, national runner-up season last year with Washington. But yeah, man, I'm with you. Kentucky, that's there's only 3 things in life that are assured. That's death, taxes, and Tennessee whooping Kentucky's ass every year. I would say money line spread on that. It's Tennessee minus 250, and then a point spread. Give me minus 10 for Tennessee. I think this will be another. I think it'll be a formidable challenge for the Wildcats coming in. But I still think Tennessee is at least a 10-point favorite or more going away. We just got superior talent and we got superior depth at all positions on the field. And then obviously Nico, I think he'll use that to build on his Heisman candidacy, and he'll have another standout performance that night. So Big Texas, thoughts against the Wildcats. You think Tennessee winds up 8-0, or excuse me, 7-0 from that, and then roll down into a big matchup with Mississippi State?
Yeah, man. I don't see them losing this game either way. No matter what happens at Bama, you got to take care of your little brother. So I see them really getting the dub here and in Mississippi State. And I just want to call this out. This is like basically a full month at Neyland Stadium. A little bit over a month and a half there. So
yeah, get a nice little bye week after Bama too.
That's right. That's right. Healing up, getting ready. One of our more famous quotes over my fanhood as a Tennessee fan is they remember November, baby. They remember November. So once you get into November 9th all the way down to close out the season, that's kind of the break outside of Georgia. I mean, you really can let your hair down, so to speak. But let's go ahead and talk about that trip to Athens. Andrew, you were in attendance the last time we beat Georgia, and it just so happened that we beat them in Athens that night with the Hail Mary, the Dobbs nail boot. So give me your thoughts. Trip to Athens. How you feeling?
We unfortunately this year will not be able to make it to Athens. It coincides with one of our Lucky Top members' wedding date. Unfortunately, the Athens, road trip or another victory can't be felt personally. But right now, the obvious pick here is Georgia's gonna destroy, and I think that's okay. Unreasonable to expect Tennessee to go 12-0, especially given that I've just been kind of bullish on every quote unquote difficult games at Oklahoma versus Alabama. Even the Arkansas game, I'm kind of like looking over that, even though there's a history that Tennessee doesn't really go play all that well on the road, true road games under Joe Shalpel. So, all that being said, I think they have the capabilities to get to this point 9-0, but unfortunately they're gonna fall. Obviously, I'm gonna hope that they don't. But this is where I think the newly amended college football playoff rules are gonna come into our favor. We can lose this game, and that's okay. We can lose to Georgia, and we still make the playoffs. And as many times in the NFL or even in college football, we often see that teams. It's really hard to beat the same team twice in a football season. So I'm gonna just hope that that's gonna be the case, that we lose this one. But if we ever have to play them in the future again during the college football playoff, that will somehow have like a 30% chance of victory. But that being said, long answer, abbreviated into Georgia beatdown. This is probably gonna be where I would bet comfortably on the Georgia side, and just hopefully, come out feeling okay. Either way.
Big Texas Bulldogs between the hedges.
Yeah, man. I think y'all are gonna lose this game, man. But you will win the next two. And I think you're looking at somewhere between 10-2 and 11-1. I don't see y'all dropping 3 games. So I think this will be a very good season for Tennessee. We will, we'll make the playoff, and from there, it's anybody's game, right?
Yeah, and interestingly enough, we don't have the East and West standings for the SEC race, so it'll be interesting to see. I tend to agree with the rest of the team here. Point spread for me in Athens, I think Georgia -7 is a pretty comfortable bet. I don't like Josh Heupel on the road until he fixes his win-loss record in true road games in the SEC. I would hedge my bets every single time. Moneyline spread, I'd put Tennessee plus 180 again for this game, and it's hard to continuously swallow, like, hey, year in and year out, we just go ahead and earmark Georgia as a loss. I can remember that was just heresy amongst Tennessee fans to concede an auto lock to Georgia, but here we are. We've just come to this point to where Georgia has really taken a hold of the league. Now, Kirby's been coming under fire a lot here lately from a lot of the talking heads in the media because all of the arrests and, the deaths of his players for all this reckless driving or DUIs and all this craziness. You got Ra Thomas out here beating people, and abusing children and domestic assault and all that good stuff. So not a good look. I think that he definitely needs to clean it up. I know the Georgia fans, they're always going to continuously turn a blind eye to it because they're winning. But Georgia drop a game or two and they start getting a little shaky. I think, it might be a little bit of a Caesar-esque departure for Kirby because of the atmosphere of the program that he's running down there. So, yeah, I wish I could say that Tennessee could go down there and get it done, but man, I was there 2 years ago. That environment was unlike anything that I've ever experienced, and I'll just leave it there. But UTEP, Vanderbilt, easy dubs. Again, yeah, I agree. 10-2, 11-1. For me, it's 11-1. Very doable for the Vols, and I think we have a good chance of hosting a playoff game and potentially even playing in the SEC championship game against probably Georgia, either Georgia or Ole Miss, depending how it all shakes out. That's my predictions. And to Andy's point, it'd be nice to see Georgia on a neutral site. Even if it is in Atlanta, because I feel like the Mercedes-Benz, dome there, I think that would give us a little better, playing field than going to Athens. So, would like to see Georgia down the road, but a lot of football to be played, and none of us get a chance to go play it. So we got to sit back and watch and just hope. So, Big Texas, you want to move on to the Longhorns?
Yes, sir. I'll start with a review here. One thing I noticed on the website is they're immediately trying to get you to spend all kinds of money here in Austin. They're not even linking you to tickets, reserve your premium tailgates, book the flights. Like, holy shit, they want you to spend thousands in Austin. True to Austin form. Little bit of a yuppie town now, so I will say that.
Little bit. No, it's definitely yuppie.
Yeah, so That's one thing I'll notice with the schedule. Dude, Texas, I think a lot very similar to you know, to Tennessee here. I think you're looking at a 11-1 team, and it's gonna be
11-1.
a dogfight.
11-1.
Yes, sir. So we start off with Colorado State.
That's a dub.
That's a dub. Let's not even go there. Let's get down to the Michigan game. Andy, any thoughts here? Texas versus Michigan. Horns up. Okay. I mean,
I can't bring myself to say that, but anyway, yeah.
Okay. Taken. Josh, what are your thoughts? We got to go to Ann Arbor here.
Yeah, I mean, you could go to Ann Arbor, you could go to fucking Kalamazoo, you could go to Kyrgyzstan. Texas is going to beat Michigan's fucking ass the second week of the season. Next UTSA.
Yeah, I mean, the opposite of Oklahoma here, we gave ourselves quite the cupcake schedule this year, so we want to make sure we're in that fucking playoff, not really messing around with no fucking, death schedule here. So.
Dude, Oklahoma, man. I know we talked about it last week, dude. Like, it's bad. It's really bad for them.
Yeah, I mean, UTSA, ULM, those are dubs.
Mississippi State too. Yeah, you just go ahead and run that all the way down to the Red River rivalry here.
I mean, I will give Oklahoma credit. Like, they usually keep it close, except for 2022. That was a fucking abomination. But shit, man, we're going back to Dallas, Cotton Bowl. They're telling you to book the flights, but I don't know if you need to go to this one physically. I think this is a big ass beat down. They're gonna be bleeding that maroon off their fucking jersey. Should be quite easy, and then we have a real fucking test. This is basically a national championship game right here. Fuck.
All right.
National championship game.
Wow.
That's just like just another October game for us. It's always been.
That's very typical Texas rhetoric there. You meet all the check the blocks for the average Texas fan there, Big T.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If we're not fucking losing to Michigan or Oklahoma, that's your fucking potential one loss. And if we fucking win this game, you're never going to hear the end of it from me, man.
I would appreciate.
I'm looking forward.
I think if you softened them up for us, that might bode well for Tennessee down the line there. So I don't know, man. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough game. I think Bulldogs are going to come into to the Fallopian Tube Stadium and beat y'all's ass. But that's my take. Andy, they've been playing cupcakes all the way up until like week 6, 7 there, or whatever that is. And then that'll be their first test. What do you think, man?
I want to say I'm pretty sure I picked Georgia to win this when we were going over Georgia. So I'm going to have to stick with it. But but that being said, like, I didn't realize what kind of cupcake schedule Texas had up to this point. So like that's kind of like making me want to flip, because I know Georgia starts out.
Go ahead and flip, Andy.
Don't flip. Don't be a flip flopper. Don't do it. Don't do it. Stick to your guns. You already know, man. This ain't the Big 12, man. This is SEC.
Right. But again, like, just to remind you how Georgia's schedule looks, they start with Clemson, Tennessee Tech, Kentucky, Alabama, Auburn, Mississippi State. So, again, like,
Alabama's one tough game.
Well,
but all the court cases, Josh, they're going to have 75 guys in prison by the fucking time they play us.
Right. It's, to quote quote Josh's favorite coach, Steve Spurrier, by that time. Usually some suspensions here or there, and then playing Alabama, playing Auburn. Auburn's a rivalry game, right? So that's gonna be just by nature gonna be
The right
some
reverend,
voodoo.
baby. Hugh Freeze. I don't know. I don't know, man.
So and it could come to be that by the time they get here, they could get pretty banged up. I still think Georgia wins, but it's not gonna be as easy of a breeze as I thought it would be. Just because like I'm just realizing how easy of a schedule Texas has. Like I don't know what Texas had to
They
do
paid the
to
SEC big time, man.
yeah, like how did Oklahoma get such a shitty schedule? But
That's
then
what I
this
was.
this
You
is
were,
a cupcake.
yeah, man. You weren't here last week, man, but I was like beside myself because I knew
What?
what Texas's schedule looked like, but I hadn't really looked at Oklahoma's. When we looked at Oklahoma's last week, it was like, who in the SEC league office got paid off by Texas boosters to make the schedules like this? Like this is
Right.
insane. This is insane.
It's
Like there's no parity whatsoever between the newcomers to the league's schedules with Oklahoma versus Texas. Texas is getting over big time with the amount of cupcakes.
I'm have to agree with Big Texas down here. I think this is a 11-1 or potentially a 12-0
flip.
This is a 12-0 team.
No. You can't flip. There's no
No,
way they're
no,
going 12-0.
I'm not flipping yet, but I'm just saying this is an 11-1 minimum team. Really, I don't see any team that could beat Texas on their schedule other than Georgia. I really
We
don't.
got 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks too. We could rotate them. Wildcat.
Yeah.
Quinn Ewers and fucking Arch. Is Arch the Wildcat? Is he the runner?
Yeah, dude. I mean, shit. I don't see a fucking loss here, man.
Yeah, I mean, it might be I think this is another playoff team, man. That's what is it? That's 5 teams from the SEC that we said that could be in the playoffs already.
Yeah,
let's name them: Ole Miss,
Tennessee, Georgia,
Texas National Championship,
Texas,
Georgia, Bama.
Bama. Yeah, 5 teams in the playoffs.
12-team playoff. Yeah,
it looks like it. I mean, like look at the schedule, man. Arkansas, Kentucky, Florida, Vanderbilt. I mean, granted, same thing for Tennessee as well. But like some of these teams are even though now we've abolished the divisions, these are like our annual opponents anyway, right? Like the Georgias and the Floridas and Kentucky of the world.
That's typically a pretty average SEC East schedule historically, with Arkansas and A&M sprinkled in there as West opponents.
Right. Whereas like Texas here, it's like comparing it to like a traditional Tennessee football schedule. There's no Bama in here, and then I guess you have Oklahoma, but that's it. Like I'm at Michigan after half their team all graduated, and they no longer have Connor, doing the work for them. So like,
I cannot believe that there's no Alabama or LSU on this schedule. Like that to me is a crime against humanity from a football fan perspective, especially there. I mean,
I guess they did just have the home and home with Bama, right?
Sure, but the proximity of them and LSU and the recruiting battles that happen between the state of Texas and Louisiana is like insane. Like it just you couldn't write a better script to have LSU and Texas play this year. It doesn't matter whether it's in Austin or Baton Rouge, a night game at Death Valley. Yeah, I don't think you guys would have got out of that one alive, but yeah, you don't have to worry about playing them because the SEC gave you this playoff lock schedule. Congratulations, Big Texas.
Yeah, I will say we're renewing an old rivalry going to Texas A&M.
Right.
These fucking Austin cornballs are telling me to book a damn flight to A&M. I don't know what the fuck self-respecting Texan is not going to drive from Austin to the College Station. That's like 200 miles. That's a fucking lunch trip for us.
Look, man, that's not going to be any challenge for you guys. They're breaking in Mike Elko down there. I mean, we're talking about those last two teams there, you know, Kentucky, their head coach was A&M's head coach for like 3 hours before they were like, oh, never mind. And sent Stoops back to Kentucky. You know, we didn't even bring this up, but that poverty program we're talking about there, Kentucky, got hit with sanctions for recruiting violations this past week. So there might be some fallout from that by the time the season rolls around. We'll see. Who knows? But again, yeah, the A&M's not going to be any challenge whatsoever, man. Like, I kind of feel sorry for them because they hate Texas so much. They moved out of the Big 12 to escape Texas, and you guys are right back into the the same league with them here in the SEC. And it's kind of unfortunate. My heart goes out to all the Aggies out there.
Yeah, man, I think this is a fucking easy lock playoff for us, and that's it, man. We'll see. We'll see you in December.
That'll be fun. You know, the real UT versus Tex meet in the playoffs. That could be spicy.
All right. Let's switch gears here. Big Texas. He lost connection. So it's me again. So it's the Olympics now. I will say that it's been going on well, I guess, since that opening ceremony. We kind of had a long monologue about that last week. But we're in the thick of it now. I guess it's almost over, right? So at this point,
who knows? Like, is anybody watching this shit?
Yeah, man. Every day.
I'm catching some highlights. I will say that it's cool to see how different teams are approaching it. I wanted to ask you guys, like, what is your favorite Olympic sport to watch? I'll start off with, I really enjoy watching the table tennis, ping pong.
Oh, wow.
Because that's something I can do at a, above average level. But then when you see it happen at the elite level, it's just like, man, I'm not on the same planet as these people. So that's
like
one
those
thing.
the Chinese guys that are just like insanely good at it.
They're super good.
Forrest Gump, you know.
Forrest Gump, bro. Yeah.
And I will say my favorite event is the triple jump. So that's like a one foot jump, left foot jump, double leg jump. I think I read somewhere that's like basically the ultimate test of how athletic you are is like how far you can go in triple jump. So that's a cool one. In winter, my favorite is the biathlon. So it's basically cross country skiing plus shooting. So it's like a timed event, and that's really cool to watch. So Andy, what are some of your favorite Olympic sports?
I mean, I think when I think the Olympics, I think the sprint, 100-meter sprint. I think that's just the pinnacle. You know, the easiest thing there is. Running. It's the fundamentals too, and me personally, I'm not really a fan of Olympic sports having judges. Like, I don't like any categories that require non-objective assessment. Being a fundamental part of the grading system. So, like, as much as gymnastics is kind of cool, I feel like it shouldn't really be an Olympic sport, and so on. I'm more of a, hey, give me like a clear cut, the fastest, or the highest jump, or if it's like a lifting, whatever, whoever lifted the most weights. If it's shooting, whoever shot inside of the 10 circle the most, right? So just me being that, 100 meters is my favorite to watch, just because I feel like that's just kind of like the one event that comes to mind when you think of Olympics. I guess some people might say swimming, just given that there are so many swimming events, and the American dominance in that sport. So I think that's fun, also because it ends in 1 minute. It's literally, you just watch it for 10 seconds and boom, you figure out who won the gold, silver, and bronze. I guess one thing that always amazes me, I guess as an Asian person, is the archery. But I'm not sitting there watching archery, but it's just kind of crazy to see that that's like a random sport they do well. It's like the same with the table tennis, and China crushing that year after year, or like the Cuban guy crushing the wrestling, like 5 straight Olympics. So that's kind of cool. And basketball, I don't know. Like I feel like Olympic basketball is just kind of like not that competitive. Like I feel like the 08, 2012, when Spain was good, Argentina was good. Like they could kind of stand up to the US team, but the competition just doesn't seem like it's there like it used to get us excited. So I guess I would say 100-meter dash is probably my favorite to watch. But that being said, like a random thing to watch, I like the little vault in gymnastics. I think that's kind of cool to see. Just seeing like how high people can jump and flip, make some flips and things like that.
Josh, same question.
Okay, yeah. For me, I would have to say probably freestyle and Greco-Roman wrestling. Probably my favorite Olympic sports to watch. I participated in both. I was a high school wrestler. Loved wrestling. And then also, Greco-Roman is a style that you actually do in college or in high school, but at the AAU level, it's all of the freestyle wrestling. So a little bit different in the styles, but both are very entertaining for me, and especially having some background and experience in both makes it real interesting for me and enjoyable to watch. I'm kind of with you, Andrew. I do like the sprints though as well. I think they're just the purity of sprinting. And then, I go back, especially being a big history nerd, the Berlin Olympics back in the 30s, and then just watching the USA crush the fucking Nazis in Hitler's face was probably my favorite thing about the Olympics when I go back and look at the, kind of like the history of all the games that's played out. But it was definitely one of my favorite historical moments of sport is when we basically put the Nazis in their place before we went over there and kicked their ass in World War II. But hey, man, on my lunch break yesterday, I was kind of intrigued by some of the synchronized swimming. Like, I don't think that I've ever really I love watching Michael Phelps and also our women's team, been dominant kind of this year. Yeah. So, but, I'd never really paid much attention to the synchronized swimming, but they had like Michael Jackson, playing. I think they were doing some routines to like Thriller or whatever. It's kind of cool. Like, where they hit all their spots, just in sync, that's the name of the game with the synchronized swimming, but pretty cool.
It's incredible, right?
Yeah, it's madness to see. And incredible is another way to describe that. But just how much practice has to go into that to be synced up like that.
Imagine for 4 years just training for that.
It's just second nature to those people in there doing the synchronized swimming with their teammates, man. I've seen that kind of with like parachute teams and kind of how they do their routines, but doing that in the water with all of the things that come with that territory, it's probably hard to hear. A lot of your senses are kind of disoriented being in the pool and stuff, but to be that fluid, hats off to them. But then, I guess really all Olympic sports, because America's beating everybody's fucking ass in that medal count right now. So go USA. I know like it's been a weird, to Naveen's point, it's been a weird kind of year after the opening ceremonies for some people. It's been polarizing. So I've not watched it as much, but yeah, I think tomorrow you'll see more of the second round of wrestling. So I'll be tuning into that to see if that guy from Cuba continues his dominance. I think Cuba's already won 1 gold medal, and the U.S. has 1 gold medal, I think, in wrestling so far. So, and then I think Japan has 2. I think they got like a bronze or gold. So either way, I'd like to see a little bit more of that over the next couple days. But yeah, that's it for me on the Olympic sports. But yeah, I'm glad that it at least gives us something to watch to kind of fill that void before football season really ramps up. Because I mean, the Hall of Fame game, man, that had me itching for some actual football. But anyway, we have had some big moments. I know we're going to talk about Joker, Scotty, and everybody here. So, Devine, glad that you came back here. Big Texas was a great co-host tonight, but good to see you back in the studio here. So, why don't you walk us through Joker, Scotty, and Simone Biles, and kind of some of the I guess high points from your perspective of the Olympic Games so far.
I mean, I think what this games has told me is the people who had everything to lose and put their nuts on the line really showed up. Djokovic, Scheffler, right? Even Simone Biles, right? A lot of people were questioning her. Is she going to come back?
Noah Lyles, can he
Noah
Lyles,
yeah.
Ledecky, still a machine. So I'll talk about Djokovic. I think that was like one of the low-key best matches of the year in tennis. Olympics is 2 sets, best of 3. So it was tiebreak in both sets. You just saw some like amazing tennis being played.
Clutch.
Very clutch. And it kind of like gave the people a little bit of hope that Alcaraz versus Joke is not a dead rivalry, and it can be done, and he's still got it. So I think that was good to see. Josh, why don't you talk about Scheffler, man?
Yeah, man. I just want to take a fucking victory lap here. A few episodes back, my golf acumen and my boy Scotty's qualifications as being the world number 1 was being called into question. I think we were talking about majors mattering versus
Schauffele versus
that. Yeah, and my boy Scotty just said, all right. I know he tuned in, he listened, and he wanted to defend my honor a little bit and just go out there and just plop it out for the entire world. The man went -19 through 4 rounds there in the Olympics. Fleetwood was second, and Matsuyama with the bronze there for Japan. But you had John Rahm and Rory McIlroy there tied for 5th. But Scotty on the world stage showed that he is unequivocally the world's number 1 golfer. And he did it there in the Olympics, and he represented the United States really well. One of the purest moments for me played out when Scotty was being presented his gold medal, and the emotion that he showed there when the national anthem was being played. I mean, you got to think about Scotty Scheffler this year, man, from the roller coaster rides since winning the Masters, the highs and lows of winning all, he's won a lot of tournaments, one major, got it. Won a lot of tournaments, the arrest, the birth of his child, and then now he's an Olympic gold medalist. I mean, what a year 2024 has been for Scotty Scheffler. So, he continued to highlight and showcase his dominance. And I don't think there's an argument to be made that Scotty's not the best golfer in the world right now. So, Andrew, what say you with the Scotty Scheffler take?
Yeah, I mean, I would agree, and I don't think any of us would disagree that he's the best golfer. I was just strictly speaking that any golfer would take 2 majors over 1, and I still stand by that. But that being said, like you said, it's pretty crazy, right? Going from the coal mines, sitting in the jail cell with a bunch of
Louisville.
University of Phoenix graduates there, in the jail cell to representing the country in less than 60 days or so. So it's kind of a, crazy going from convict to gold medal. That's I'm sure. Like you said, I mean, we joke about it, but the man must have went through a lot of hell, from winning the Masters to getting arrested at 4 a.m. for no reason, and then having his child, and now representing the country. I know golf is relatively new in the Olympics, but that didn't seem like it stopped him from getting all emotional. So good to see, good for him. uh I would say, similar thing with what Naveen said about Djokovic. I mean, I still think Djokovic is kind of done, but I think this was that one tournament that he had left. It's actually the only tournament he hasn't won, because he's won every single tournament that he's participated in ever, like all the Masters, all the majors, like multiple times over. But Olympics is something that he had not yet conquered. Just every time losing in the semifinals or losing in the final for whatever reason. So I think this was just like the whole, like the persistence finally breaking through after 20 years of getting blue balled. And you could see that for someone like Djokovic too, right, growing up in that a shit show of Eastern European, the wars and stuff. So I'm sure
Yeah,
they
man.
they take the national pride incredibly seriously, and
Absolutely.
being able to bring gold, I'm sure that meant a lot for him. So I think those are some cool highlights, I would say, of the Olympics so far. Obviously, Biles
Biles, her
getting the
rebound.
gold, yeah, getting the gold in the team event, as well as the vault. Like I said a little bit ago, I think vault is a very cool event. Just being able to see someone just take like three sort of hop step into jump and just doing those 10 meters into the air. So it's incredible to see. And obviously the 100 meters, the closest finish we've probably seen in like forever. I mean, that was just crazy. I saw that they had to do literally, officially the record was tied. And every other Olympics leading up to this, like they would have just given out 2 gold medals, but because of the technology, they were able to take 1/1000th of a second. Yeah, that they're taking the pictures at that frame.
Those
And
frames, yeah.
I mean, that's crazy, right? Like if this result happened in 2020 Tokyo, there just would have been 2 gold medalists. But now we
Sure.
live in a world where zero point zero 0.01 second matters, and that determines the winner and the loser. So that's I think
Yeah,
that's
man.
kind
I
of
mean,
incredible.
the smallest or largest margins have really affected some of the outcomes in the Olympics. And you want to talk about one of the larger margins. I mean, that dude from France with that hammer on him, dude, when he can knock the pole down on the pole vault, it's like, man with largest dong disqualifies himself from potential gold medal. I was like, dude, imagine being that guy.
Yeah.
He's in his home country there in Paris. And I know being real juvenile here, but Jesus Christ, like you're going over and trying to win the gold medal for your country. But imagine that bar story there, right? Yeah, I would have won the gold for the French, but my dick's so big I couldn't get over the pole. I actually knocked it down while I was setting the world record. I just can't get my ginormous penis out of the way. So, Naveen, outside of that, your boy Scotty representing Bergen County there in Ridgewood, man. Did they get the juices flowing for you? Talking about a bar story to tell.
Yeah, I mean, you could tell it was like a emotional release for him, and he had like a lot of cool feelings about it. I would say that like they did like a quick poll before the Olympics and of what each person wanted to do. Everybody else has said win gold, and Scotty said had fun. So I think like he's really like simplifying things this year. He's just going with the flow,
Yeah.
and it's good to see someone with such a positive attitude like kick everybody's ass. So
Yeah.
that's great.
Yeah. So Andrew, last thing on the French guy in the pole vault, would you rather have won the gold medal or won the notoriety and probably the
Live as an urban legend.
living as an urban legend, and probably all the chicks there in France wanting to know you because of why you lost instead of why you won.
Nah, give me the gold, man. Give me the gold. Again, history books matter more to me. It's I think I forget how much French paid the gold medalist. I'm sure it's 71,000.
Yeah.
Is it a one-time payment or is it like a lifetime pension?
I don't know.
But hey, I'd rather be celebrated as a gold medalist and be able to, milk the endorsements coming thereafter and live comfortably financially rather than some cool story for the bars. But I feel like 20 years down the road, man, people are just gonna think
I don't know,
bullshit,
man. I think with a dong that size, you could probably parlay in a lot of endorsements.
Maybe. I mean, potentially, that's I mean, definitely a bar story for sure. But again, like if I'm an athlete, I feel like gotta bring home the gold, right? Gotta bring home the gold.
So there's so many people, being player haters out here on this poor French guy. There's fact checkers about whether or not his dong was the reason why he got DQ'd from the event. Apparently, his ankle and his knee hit the bar first. They weren't willing to concede that his junk hitting the bar was the reason why. But anyway, I figured I'd throw that in there. That was something of a headline that kind of caught my attention in more ways than one when it came to the Olympics, and especially the proximity of him being the French and it happening in his home country. I hope that he turned that into a profitable occurrence for him there.
I mean, Andy, if you think about it, maybe he has more potential earnings from OnlyFans than France is going to give him.
Dude, that's what I was saying. I think he could.
But like, are there gonna be people paying for OnlyFans?
He could be an ED. He could be an ED ambassador. There's endless possibilities that could come out of this.
It's very true. It's very true. I mean, I just feel like
Trojan condom commercial, Trojan man. They could do the French version of that. Whatever. There's a lot of potential there.
It is. This is very true, right? I guess you guys are bringing up a good point. We live in a world where
we're spiraling out of control here. I'm sorry, Andrew, but yes, we do live in a world.
Yeah, no, and where traditional means of the endorsements and the rewards, could be considered an afterthought in the world of the OnlyFans and other means of endorsements.
If Hawk Tua girl could make $2 million, like in the weeks following the Hawk Tua video, look, I just made a connection there. It could be Hawk Tua girl and French dong guy. They could collab and make probably a lot of money together. I'm just saying.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
All right, so I think we had a great show today. We took a look at two playoff teams. The 10-2 or 11-1.
The Orange Waves,
the real
baby.
UT and TEX.
Yeah, and your national championship winners.
Who, the Vols? Absolutely. Yeah.
Calling it right now. So Texas and Tennessee. We took a look at the Olympics a little bit. We also talked about some exciting recruiting things that are happening down in Knoxville, and this seems to be a good sign for what's to come. Guys, 25 less than 25 days till football
kickoff.
Get ready, stick with us for best bets. Signupexpert.com/LockyTopSports, also BetStamp. to compare lines. Just want to remind you guys, France plus 4.5, lock, men's basketball. It's been a great show. Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Andy. Let's go, Vols.
GBO, guys. See you next time.